Good morning, good evening, good day. Thank you very much for joining me again on another Gunpla Insider for the Gunpla Network. My name is Scott Tiller. I just wanted to take a few minutes to sort of explain. This evening's episode is actually like a double episode. A couple of guys that are good friends of mine, I think, and they've had a GBWC experience in 2018, both from slightly different angles. And we'll get to meet for the second time Aaron Simons and our mate Win, the paint pusher. And so you might want to break us up into a couple of chunks. And either way, sit back and enjoy what should be an outstanding couple of interviews back to back. Good evening, good morning and good day. My name is Scott Tiller. This is the Gunpla Insider for the Gunpla Network. Today I've got with me a return visitor, Aaron. Aaron Simons was the Australian GBWC representative for 2018. Got himself a wicked sledgehammer, and it took him to Japan. And I've got with me Aaron tonight to share some of the experience, everything from Aaron's an experienced builder, but everything from getting the kit and preparing the kit and taking it to Australian GBWC and then going on further, and the experience of actually going overseas and just being amongst that entire amazing experience. So I'll get you in a sec, Aaron. A couple of sponsors. Canadian Gundam look after the Gunpla Network very well, and Clouded Communications, they're the guys that look after my VMR and my camera gear. So without further ado, Aaron, mate, I haven't spoke to you since just before December 2018, and you went, you saw it, you came back. Tell us all about everything, anything that you can remember amongst the blur of from that day with Kawaguchi in Sydney all the way through to landing back in Sydney after your trip to Japan. How are you? And please share.
Oh, good, mate. Thank you for having me on again, Scott.
No worries.
Look, man, I think it's probably obvious to start at the beginning, but I might start like that whole Japan feel was truly amazing. Like, I can really see and understand now why people try so hard to win and get there. And, when you're there with that group, and a lot of those people, it was their second or even third time being there. Wow. And I totally understand why. It is a really amazing experience. It's just fantastic, a lot of fun, and it's just awesome being around so many super positive people that just love their art form, love being amongst everyone else, and just want to talk about it. And it's a really, really cool thing to do.
It really does become an art form at that level, doesn't it? Like I was there March 2018. And I knew nothing. I'd been building for like 6 weeks, and I walked in. There's that big tank right down the end where I had previous GBWC winners. You kind of walk around, and even at that level, you're like, "This is Gunpla, holy moly!" And you really see that lift. I spoke to a few people in Sydney when I was there that last year, and they were like, "Oh, I can't believe I didn't do very well." And man, you got to be just right up there to nail it. So, go on.
No, I was going to say, it is true. I remember when Josh won in 2016, and I remember him saying something in an interview I saw where he kind of mentioned that, when he got over there and he just saw the next level, like he saw just at what level it is there. And I remember thinking, well, I'm sure they're good, but it can't be like, I'm kind of prepared for what I'm about to see, but no, in all honesty, I had the exact same experience. I'd seen all of those builds online. I'd been even chatting to those guys. I've seen many of their other builds and whatnot, but when you see them, not all of them, but the ones that really stood out, when you see them in the flesh, it was like, oh wow, okay, I kind of get it now. I sort of see why these guys are winning. And others are maybe not,
Anyway,
what were you going to say?
No, that's right. Did you learn anything, do you reckon, as far as your own personal ability to, or as in improving your own modelling skills? Like, was there stuff that you saw and went, whoa, I know exactly what he's done there. The dude's a freaking genius. I'm going to use something along those lines.
Man, I didn't learn one thing. I learned a million things. Like, that's another thing that you kind of aren't prepared for. Like, I almost sort of wasn't really thinking about the fact that I was going to see in the flesh all those other builds and meet all those other amazing artists, right?
Yeah.
Because you just concentrated on, you're stressing about getting your kit there, and you've got to get it through customs, and it's pretty stressful, to be honest, getting it over there without breaking it.
Yeah.
And then on the day, you're just concerned about getting it in, getting it set up and whatnot. And it's only after that, and when the officials come around, and there's just people constantly taking photos and asking you to redo things and whatnot. But once you're sort of happy, they kind of say to you, "Are you happy now? Can we close it up?" And when you sort of say, "Yep, close it up," they close it up, and it's just a massive relief. You just kind of go, whew, and then you actually start to go, actually, now I'm going to go and have a look at the other builds and start to talk to the other guys a bit more about how they did things. But one of the really cool things that Bandai sort of do is they're very open about the judging, and they show all the scores, they show everything. But what they do in the evening is they really encourage you to talk to the judges and ask them for feedback.
Yeah.
And in typical Japanese style, they're matter of fact. They just tell you exactly why things are the way they are, and the feedback you got from those guys, and the guys that are the judges for us were just absolute legends, all of them. So the feedback that they give you, and it really changed the way that I even think about the comp. And certainly, like, seeing the way that other builders approach things and the cool tricks they do, and just talking to everyone, like, it really, really changes you and influences you as a builder, for sure.
That's phenomenal. Well, look, we'll take a little bit of a pictorial journey. We'll start with which was obviously the build, the sledgehammer. I've got a couple of pics here, 5 or 6 of the sledgehammer, just to remind people of what it is you did to get your opportunity to go over and experience what you were just talking about.
Sure.
We were talking a little bit before about even as the casual builder, like, I feel like I'm talking to a Pele or like some sort of Olympic sprinter now, because you've been to them. But even like the rest of us, I know you're a normal dude, but you've had an experience that's beyond most people's wildest dreams. I've got kits on my shelf here that, like, the minute you go finished, it just has a certain vibe about it, and you love it, and you put it in a spot where you can look at it every time you walk past the door, and you move it to your living room, or you do whatever, and then it sort of fades. But some kits will just take on a new vibe, and you'll look back at them and go, oh, look what I learnt, or look what I did. This kit for you, obviously, it must have changed in vibe several times, from Sydney to the flight to, like you said, they closed the cabinet, and then right down to boxing it back up and getting back on the plane. You must have given him a little hug and said thank you. That it must have happened like that.
Well, I mean, he's still there. I mean, they don't
really?
send it. Yeah, they're all still there. They don't send it back until March. So we all had to provide, like, yeah, I know, you kind of wave goodbye to him and that's it.
Yeah, right.
But you have to leave really detailed disassembly and packing instructions and whatnot. There's all this. They give you this kind of like email, with all this stuff that you need to do for them and whatnot. So yeah, no, they're still over there. Actually, they're still over there now. But yeah, look, I know what you're saying. When you're building something and you finish it, anyone who's like striving to be a good artist in any field of art, I mean, you generally put all your energy into your latest piece, right? Like, I don't ever do a piece and go, oh, I'm just going to smash this one and not really give a shit about it. I always try to put my best into it. And, every build you do, generally represents your best at that point, the best you could do. And the problem is, though, is that when you've achieved that kit, you've grown as an artist, you've grown as a builder. So your best now is slightly higher than that. You know, you've moved your level up. Mm-hmm. So what I find generally with my builds is, you know, when I finish them and I don't really claim to ever finish anything. I just get to a point where I kind of go, look, if I keep going, I'm just going to make it worse. So I just sort of abandon the project and go, I think it's good enough, you know. Right. And then I sort of like go, well, I'm really proud of it. I really like it, but I've got so many other ideas about what I can do next time that I'm sort of I just want to move on to the next one and do things. And with a build like that, working on the one kit for 7 months, by the end of it, you are pretty fatigued and pretty tired of it. Well, I certainly was anyway. And talking to the other guys, talking to the other guys, they're the same. You know, everyone was kind of like, oh yeah, I was pretty happy to get it finished, to be honest, in the end. Yeah,
I mean, you look at the guys that I've met in Australia, the Australian guys I've personally met, yourself, Lance, James, a stack other, but they're the people that kind of really got my attention. The people who were fortunate enough to help me kind of get this show going in the beginning. It's down to the wire. Like Lance was, albeit it didn't do great, but he was pouring resin, you know, days before, and you guys are just squeezing at that very last detail, you know, and it must just totally. Well, I've done some sort of stuff in Army where you're doing it, and you're doing it, and you're doing it, and you're doing it, and the minute it's end of X, you're like, oh, thank God, like
absolutely. There is a bit of that. In saying that, though, like, you know, because I was lucky enough to win in Australia with it, you know, obviously it holds a special place in your heart. You know, it got you there, and you're super proud of it. Yeah. But you know, at the same time, when I sort of set it up and it was there and amongst all the others, you know, you walk around and it was just awesome to be around all those other kits and see all that stuff in the flesh, and the whole competition and whatnot for me was, I didn't really even think about it. It was seriously only when we were like, you know, standing up and waving our little flags and stuff that I thought, oh yeah, shit, actually this is a comp, you know, like someone in here is going to win this thing, and you know. Yeah. But
I was talking something the other day about I used to race mountain biking, downhill mountain biking quite a bit, you know, the full headgear and body armour and stuff. This is when I was living in Victoria and in Mount Buller and Thredbo and stuff. And I used to go to some state rounds and the nationals. And the nationals was always a qualifier for the worlds. And I would be doing practice runs, and I'd be sitting there on the ramp ready to punch down, and I'd see a dude roll up behind me with his helmet half up, and it'd be like a dude called Mick Hanna, a guy from Cairns. Yeah. It's just a mental, like, third fastest in the world. And I'm sort of sitting on this ramp looking at Mick Hanna thinking, I'm about to do a practice run on the very same course as the third fastest dude in the world. Yeah. You know, I guess it's something like that. It doesn't really... And even when I go to Sydney, you know, the time I went, and when I go this year, I'll put a kit in the case because I want to help the hobby grow, and I want to show people in flesh what I'm doing. But just to be there with people that really are your peers and your leaders, and have your kit next to their kit, 4 kits down. I was like 6 kits from your kit, and your kit was Japan. And that kind of connects me in a little way, you know. I feel I've got just my fingers in the community that little bit more.
Yeah, I get it, man. I totally get it. And those of us that are sort of, you know, GBWC tragics and come and support the event every year, like, you know, it's an amazing weekend. We have a great time. You know. Yeah. And I mean, that's obviously down to all the hard work that Ryan and his team put into it, and others as well. But at the end of the day, you know, it's the people that kind of make that stuff. So, it is a good thing. It's a cool thing.
Yeah. Now, we talked about the kits that you saw that were just amazing and blew you away. And we've sort of, I've queued up a few photos of the kits that you kind of felt that, for you, and this is not about I think this should have won or that should have won, but the ones that you saw in the flesh and had the impact on you, and you're like, wow, that's insane. Yeah. So I'll put these up. So it goes from first, second, and the last 2 pictures are equal third in your eye. as your opinion of, I really love this work?
Yeah, these were the kits that when I saw them, I just went far out.
Yeah.
You know,
Now this Exia, I didn't kind of get it when I saw it. I'm not an Exia fan. I didn't understand, and then people started pointing out things on it, like simple stuff, even like all the textures and stuff that have been used over the armour. And when you saw close-up photos in person, it must have been incredibly insane.
Honestly, like this one, because the Japan comp was like literally 2 weeks before the Worlds, right? So when Isuka won with this one and the Junior Japan champ, they just stayed at Gundam Front in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So we got there, like my wife and I got there a week early, and you know, as it happened, we just sort of went to Gundam Front on the first night. So I walked in, and this was right there, and I remember just looking at it, thinking, "Holy crap!"
Just get back on the plane.
Like, I said to my wife, like I said, "Well, there goes first place for sure."
Mm.
And I hadn't even seen the other builds yet, you know. And there's so much about this kit that you don't realise. And when you see it up close, it was truly amazing, all the carbon fibre. But the other thing that was really amazing about it was the diorama. It was incredible.
Yeah,
that whole thing he built.
Yeah.
And no matter what angle you looked at it from, even if you looked at it from behind, you got these really awesome glimpses through those windows, and it was all detailed on the back, and it was just phenomenal. It really, really was.
And this sort of like infinity mirror thing that just gives it that massively infinite depth of a tunnel, even though it's just that way everything tricks you into.
Yeah.
And like hanger dioramas are not uncommon, but this is not the usual hanger diorama.
Exactly right, and that was the feedback that the judges gave him. You know, he's done effectively a box diorama, but he's just done it in such an original way. And even down to the way that he had the pose of the kit. This is not the best photo, this one, I might add, but even the pose of the kit, the way that he had done it, it perfectly hid the acrylic rod that was holding it in space.
Yeah.
And just the angle of the actual box there, you really had to like almost squat down on your knees to look up and see the actual rod. So when you were viewing it just normally, it really looked like that kit was just kind of hovering there out in space. You know, it was very, very well executed.
And it's one of those kits where, or dioramas, where you get that feeling of a captured moment in time. You know, most of us just kind of like sticking them up in tough A-frame, standing there, I'm ready to go to work. But the true dioramas are, you see something going on, and there's something going, it's just kind of floating around in space.
Yeah, it really looks like it is in Zero.
Yeah, it does. It's magic. Well, we'll move on.
So yeah, for me that was, and I mean that's a clean build as well, which is not my usual style that I gravitate towards. So, you know, it is something special for me to I just saw that and went, wow, that's amazing.
Truly. All right, if you like, we'll move on to what was second in your eyes, just based on your opinion. The Zaku here. This is truly brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. So again, you know, everyone online saw all the photos of this, and you know, the concept is really fantastic. But man, seeing it in the flesh, it was it was huge. It was really big, and it was really solid. You know, like it wasn't just tall. It filled that whole void. You know, that whole 50 by 50 by 50. But the Shah helmet and like the internal, what you can't see in these photos is like even the inside of that Shah's helmet is just as detailed as the exterior, and you can't really even see that anywhere on it. It was just that when he was putting it together, obviously you could see the parts all coming together, and it was like, man, the detail that you've put into that, you know. And the kit was really nicely modified and nicely painted and a bit weathered, so it really connected with it, and just such a clever concept, you know, and it really stood out for me. It was I really liked it.
It's got that real. I'm not much of a comic book type guy, but it's got that real kind of, you know, sort of water paint cover of a manga comic or something where they blend these images just to give you a real idea of what's going on within this issue or this volume.
Absolutely. It really reminds me of a Star Wars poster.
Yeah, they have that kind of like different depths and scale.
All the things mashed together. But it was cool, like, because the kit, even though the kit does look a bit shiny there, the kit was essentially, your sort of standard matte type finish, with weathering and whatnot on it, not too heavy. But the helmet was in high gloss, so it just those looked fantastic together. They really did.
So was the Zaku like based on a PG?
It's a mega size.
Ah, right. 148. Yeah. I love how he's sort of like got that chest really rounded out. Which to me, makes a lot of sense because there's a lot going. There's a pilot and a whole cockpit in there, and the Zaku's always mess with my OCD whenever I build one because the seat's off to one side. I'm like,
I know.
Damn it! It's okay. Just let it go. It's Xeon. That's what they do.
Yeah, but he's that's really heavily modified. That Zaku.
Yeah, the mega size is almost a big toy. It's good work.
So I loved that. It was fantastic.
All right, we'll move on to the next two. I'm just going to flick to the next one. There are two that you said equal third. So we got this guy here. It's like a sort of a Nightingale deep striker type situation.
Yeah, so this was from David, or Choco Falcon, for those of you that know him by his handle. But I just again a clean build, which doesn't normally attract me. But I know if you remember David's last year. Do you remember that big red one? The name escapes me now. I had it before.
Skirt thing with a.
Yeah. It was like a big kind of skirt with a sort of,
all seeing some images.
Yeah, I really liked that. Like I that one really appealed to me last year. And when I saw this again, David is a really amazing guy. He's just such a nice guy. And because he's been before, he was really helpful and he was just a really, really great guy. But in terms of the way he builds, even though he's a clean builder and it's not my normal style, he's by far and away my favourite clean builder. It's just so creative in what he does. And, it was deliberately all blue. That was the point of it,
Yeah.
Like he could have put, acres of colour separation on that thing and, made it look way more complex than it is. But, he sort of had the courage to just stick with basically 2 or 3 tones of blue and really sort of focus on the actual, mech itself. And again, it was massive. It was huge. It was really, really big.
Yeah. The two things that strike me is it's very much, I could see it in an anime. I could see it animated and fighting and coming through with some, what? It's a mobile armor, what? And all freaking stuff. And the other thing that I get inspiration from is his base. I'm sort of toying with some stuff myself. And the base, as you've shown, and lots of people, but yours was probably the one that really triggered it for me, was the base needs to complement. It needs to
100%.
But it needs to not take away. And so I'm looking at his base, I'm like, okay, it's kind of like a hanger deck. I can see handrails, and they give me a little trigger, but at the same time, I'm not distracted by the hanger. Oh, is this scale, or is that scale, or whatever. And that's one of those tricks that the good builders just pull off. They know. Like even that hanger deck for floating Exia, yes, there was a million gorgeous things going on around it, but the Exia was still the center. There's still the focus, That really just highlighted the fact that this kit's a great build.
And David's got like a mirror on the base of that,
right?
Because the detail that was up under it, like from behind, that's where actually all the main detail was. Like there's just this incredible set of engines and thrusters and tubing and tanks and all sorts of stuff there. It's it was very cool. Very cool.
I was trying to work out. I thought there was a hole in there, and I was trying to work out what the other little the tank on the that makes more sense. Is that like is that a tire sort of tucked up in the front? Am I seeing that?
Yeah. It is that little black thing just under the sort of, lots of little hidden gems there. There's all sorts of stuff there. And what you can't tell from this is the execution of it, right? I mean, there's plenty of models that look good when they're posed and they're finally together and whatnot, but there could be blue tack or all sorts holding them together. But I watched David put this together, and everything was like meticulously engineered, all magnets, and it just sort of snapped together, and the armor would just go pop and just pop exactly into place. And he had really taken the time to think about the way that it was going to go together and whatnot. So engineering was just as impressive as the finished product.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking about last year at GBWC. I had the sniper thing over there with the little cows, little HO cows, and I couldn't get my crap together. I didn't take any glue, so I just had to sort of like shove them into the grass, and I walk past like every hour going, but I hope those cows haven't fallen over. And Dave's like, I was hitting the window trying to get the cow to fall over all the time. It just astounds me. Yeah, so funny. All right, we'll move on to the your other favourite third. Beautiful. Have you seen the series of We Are Gundam, the smaller ones? There's the one he did of the guy carrying the two kids with a white base in the background, and I just saw like the most bravest, bestest dad ever. And the kids and white base, and Win hadn't even seen the series, and I was like, if you're ever going to sell that, I need that. It'll remind me I need to be a better dad. It just blew me away.
But like, it was a well-deserved third. I mean, he really did deserve it. And again, Win is just the best guy. Just such a nice guy, such a passionate artist, and no ego whatsoever. Just a great guy all around. And again, these photos, there's so much going on in this, and because you need such a wide shot to get it all in. You can't really see the goodies in it, but the two kits themselves are really heavily modified and beautifully painted. And then, like, the scene that he's created, which is literally has been scratch built, every part of that he's built, if you followed the series when he was doing it. And
when I interviewed him, he took me through a lot of the steps.
It's crazy.
And took photos of all the boxes, the kits, and then them. And that's the tip of the iceberg. What astounds me the most about this kit and all these sorts of kits is how the hell you get the thing to stay upright, and the structure that's involved to make this look like it's just floating on top. A dream going on above it. That the structure, because that's like the only thing I can grasp, because the rest of it's just magic.
Yeah, honestly, I think Win's probably, when it comes to posing, like the poses that he has, in his kits, I think he's, without a doubt one of the best, if not the best. He just captures life. He really captures life and movement in his poses. And with this one especially, like, it's just, you're just waiting for them to continue through the movement that they're doing. It is really amazing. But no, I love this, and the paintwork on it was really original as well. You can't really see it in these photos, but again, it's all brush painted, which is amazing if you're looking at that blending that he does. But all the panel lines, even though they look like they're pronounced from like a panel line wash and stuff, he actually is like brush painted a highlight and a shadow on all of them, and like on where the panel lines meet, he's like got little points of light that he's brush painted in there, and like up close, it just you seriously just had to stand there for like half an hour just to take it all in and look around the kits, and it was really phenomenal. And then, of course, the concept is just fantastic, Yeah,
without doubt. There is so much, like, when you look at the lighting effects, especially, I think it's still really prominent over the chest and over the helmet, and it's not that typical sort of, pre-shading or post-highlighting. It's more of a play of light than it is an exercise of technical shading.
I totally agree.
And it's also got that, it's not, there's a sort of an inconsistency, and it's that pseudo-randomness of the light and the way it falls. You look up on the shoulder there, and it's like, and it's sort of just like, is it the light's just reflecting off clouds and going all over the place? And it's absolutely gorgeous.
But no, it was fantastic. It's a great kit. And like I said, it made even better by when the owner of it is such a top guy,
Yeah, it does help. We'll just scoot back to something for a second. I just want to share this with everybody. This was the moment.
Oh my God.
Brilliant. I know I can put my hand on my heart and say I was here on my couch watching it. I was like, hey, there you go.
Oh man. I don't know. They made us do like a rehearsal, not really rehearsal, but they sort of they have this team of people which do the rehearsal on your behalf. Like they actually are all sitting out in the seats and they announce everyone and they stand up and wave the flags, and you're meant to sort of just like watch it and see, oh, that's what I need to do, and then they explain it to you like 3 times what you need to do, and but when it actually came to it, I stood up and I thought to myself, you know what, I don't think I've ever waved a little mini flag before. I sort of didn't know how to do it, It was just...
Anyway, or like, basically, we've all done that on Anzac Day or Australia Day, anyway, but you never stop to think, hang on, there's like a school of people watching me do this.
Yeah, I got to keep it in shot, It's got to stay in shot. Anyway.
Kickboxing kangaroo. Boom! Yeah. I've got a couple of pics here that what we were looking at before, roughly. They're just sort of like, I guess, leading on from when the kit was, when you won, basically. So let me spool this up. Here we go. So this is back in Sydney, and there it is. And there's your sledgehammer. And there's your golden trophy and your ticket to Japan. And I guess at that point, you must have really sort of went, well. Yeah.
It was a big, honestly, man, like it was a relief as well as being awesome. Like it was, don't get me wrong, I was stoked, but, it's like the 3rd time I've competed, and I've never even placed before. So I was sort of thinking, all right, this year I'm going to, I planned what I was going to do with full intention of being really competitive, whereas the years before it, I just happened to be doing a build and I thought, man, this is going to turn out pretty good. I might enter this in GBWC.
Sure.
Whereas like 2018, I thought, I've got kind of an idea and I'm going to build something to be competitive, So when it won, I was obviously rapt. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I was also like, after it, the dust sort of settled, I was quite kind of relieved that all that effort had paid off, because it's a huge amount of effort.
It was a big night that night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I won't be joining you guys at the after party this year. WC last year, and I was tame. I did a lot of shouting hell yeah, and I drank a little. I had the week off after I got back. I was just beat with all the enthusiasm and just all the... Yeah, it was such a rad weekend.
Yeah, it is a big weekend. It's a big weekend. Well, Sunday's interesting.
Yeah, Sunday was setting a different tone the next day. Josh in there, Josh is old chipper giving his tutorial. It makes me sick how happy that dude.
But no, it was wicked, man. Yeah, and like when you do win, sort of on the Sunday, Freddie, who's kind of like the Bandai rep, that is your like every person from each country that wins, you have like a chaperone with you everywhere you go on the day. Yeah. And they're usually the Bandai rep for that region. So we had Frederick was obviously with me, but on the Sunday he sort of gets you aside and says, look, you need to book your airfare and you need to do this, and so like that it sort of made it real. I was like, oh wow, yeah, I'm really going. Like this is a done deal, you know. And you get contacted by Bandai, and they sort of, you know, tell you, have you booked your flight yet? Have you done this? When are you staying? Where are you? You know, they sort of, it becomes much more real after you kind of win, and you think, yeah, this is cool, man. I get to be part of this train now. You know.
But do they cover all those costs, your flights and accommodation and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, wowzers. Yeah. That's unreal, eh? Did you stay around Odaiba, or were you more?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. So they ask, like most guys come, you know, a few days early or stay on a couple of days afterwards. So they just sort of ask that everyone stay at this hotel. They book it actually, so they don't really ask. You just turn up and they've got your room ready. But it's at it's kind of 2 stations from Odaiba, but it's a really nice hotel actually. It's really nice, and so you basically every day you just kind of travel on this one line to get into Tokyo and to get around. It's really easy though, as you know, getting around in Tokyo.
It's where you need to be.
Yeah. But on the day they actually have buses in the morning. Like buses come and take everyone over to Odaiba, and the whole day's, you know, orchestrated down to the second. It really is. Yeah. But yeah, it was good.
Yes, this is the official Bandai. I mean, the official Bandai picture. So I guess when this was on the interwebs, it just kept getting like ground into you and driven more and more home that this is legit. I mean, you live in reality, but it must have just really started to peak on you.
Yeah, it did. Like when that went up, I was like, wow, shit. They're because I don't think they did that in the previous years, where they did it after GBWC, where they put all of the detail up, but in 2018 they did it as it happened, you know. So it was cool.
Like the shots that was taken like by Scott before putting in the cabinet.
No, so when I don't know if you sort of saw, I think you were still there when they were doing it, but you might have been off chatting to someone. But basically, they got the first, second, and third of the senior and the junior, and they set up another photo tent. And RJ was taking all those pro shots that day, so they kind of asked him to take some really good shots of them, which he did. So that's these shots. So these are like, you know, done on digital SLR and obviously a bit higher quality than what we were just snapping off normally.
Yeah, rad. And then it's boxing up and off you try. Yeah. That must have felt pretty good too. I guess it's all just another step in the process. And next time I see you, mate, we're, you know, in the halls of Valhalla, basically.
Yeah, and I tell you, like the amount of times I opened that case to recheck it.
Oh yeah.
Just before we left, you know, it's like, okay, I'll just go again. I had a little checklist, and I kept looking at it and touching every piece, you know, to make sure that it was there. And
well, I probably.
I mean, like,
just go on.
If you get there and you forgot the hand or something, you're screwed. It's not like I could make an exact copy of it in the time I had, you know.
I'm terrible. Even when we're going like away for the weekend, I don't pack until the night before. I put everything, like if that would mean I'd have it on a bench, no one go in that room, tape it off, and I'd be turning the tape off every 30 minutes to make sure no one had been in. Oh man, that must have been epic. But it's part of the process, part of the cost. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah,
and it's weird. Like you get there and, you know, everyone's done the same. Everyone's got it packed just meticulously. You know,
unless you're James Denise, who just brings a huge like tea chest.
Yeah, I know.
Sides off and goes, "There's my bill, dudes." The funny thing about James's was because we all lined up outside waiting to put our kits in Sydney, and once James had lifted his out and took it in, we then had a really huge coffee table to sign our names on the sheets to queue up and take our stuff in. Yeah, cheers, James.
Yeah, man, it was bulletproof, that thing.
It was. And, around about, what was it, sort of 10 hours later, you touch down, you work out where you are, and there you are.
So that was the first night. That's when we kind of just thought, oh, well, let's go and have a look down there, you know. And they had this big wall set up with all of the winners you can kind of see behind me there. And then they had, obviously, the trophy. Yeah, there we are. And they had, like, the trophy sitting in this cabinet. And Gundam Front is just fantastic. It really is.
Yeah.
It's not even finished yet, too. Like, I mean, it might be now, but it wasn't in December. There's still parts of it that they were still building. But it's enormous, and it's like a museum as well as being, you know, where they do their live stream shows from, and it's also got a massive shop there, and but it's really interesting. Like there's like even a molding machine at the back, you know, injection molding that, you know, sort of they got running on the night and were spitting out unicorn heads for us and things like that. So it's pretty cool.
The little museum section's pretty rad with all the uniforms and the old molds and stuff, and that's all business. That's pretty amazing, eh?
Yeah. And then we had after the actual event, it was sort of getting dark then, so they take everyone down to do this special unicorn, like the 1-to-1 unicorn they've got outside. They do this like special light show with it, so we all went down there and watched that, which was pretty cool. But whilst we were doing that, they set the room up for the function that night. So when you come back upstairs, like the whole room was set up with tables, and at each of our places we had that plaque, which you can sort of see behind me there.
Oh yeah,
you know, the plaque you get, and a whole bunch of other sort of like I guess souvenir-y type things that they give all the contestants, and all the guys that placed or got trophies. They were all nicely presented as well at their seats and stuff. So it's very cool.
Beautiful.
Very well run sort of event. And then like once where everyone's like, they sort of play games, and you know, the drinks start flowing and everyone starts having a laugh, and it's really good. And then they just came around and all handed us a 10,000 yen voucher and said, the shop's yours, go for it. So we're all
for sure. It's just you guys.
Yeah, it's just us.
It's like all this Gunpla.
And everyone's running around half cut, and we've got the whole shop to ourselves, just going, everyone's just walking around grabbing stuff, holding big boxes, and so it was very cool. It was good fun. And then obviously they take us back to the hotel, and a few of us kicked on when we went back to the hotel. So it was really, really great day, a massive day. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen a few photos from people like obviously in like I think foyers of hotels and looking like they're just ecstatic, just on top of the world.
Yeah.
And that's true. It's one thing to be with a couple of friends, but to be with a bunch of strangers, make all these new friends, and a bunch of liquor in your system, and just like totally electrical sort of environment. It must just be.
Yeah. It was cool. But look, my only regret was I didn't get to hang out with everyone. Like there was 9 or 18 of us there, and you really only get one day together. That's kind of it. It's just one big day, and so just the nature of the day, you just don't get to hang out with everyone. So that's the only thing that you sort of is a bit of a shame. It'd be, I'd like to have sort of gotten to know all the other builders as well as sort of the guys that I hung out with, mainly.
Yeah, cool. Well, I guess the elephant in the room is like 2019 Aaron Simons. What's the plan? You got stuff, or like are you keen, or what's the go?
Yep.
How much time I'm this year? Because it has a massive impact on your private life. I mean, you knock out some beautiful jets and tanks and stuff, and like you said, they kind of just go together. There's not a high parts count, and you've got a lot of your techniques down. You can sort of pump stuff out quick, but things like this are very different, especially when you're building structure. You're rebuilding, like that dude's Nightingale just went snap, snap, snap. You don't just stick a magnet on the end and just it all lines up. There's a lot more.
No.
So what's 2019 look like for you?
Yep. So I mean, I'm definitely entering. I haven't started yet. It sounds a bit cliche, but after that build, I needed a bit of a cleanser. I needed a bit of a hiatus from Gundam and Gunpla and mech in general. Hence why I've been building everything non-mech. But at the same time, I've been waiting for an idea to kind of, emerge, and then I've been letting that percolate until I've kind of got something solid. And now I think I do, but it's just a case of starting. So, yeah, I've just got to really sort of start. But, we've got 5 or so months now, I think. I think I can sort of make it in that time,
And based on, like, your experience in Tokyo and, the impact that seeing all that other stuff, all the other amazing builds, do you think that's really affected, if you hadn't have done that, obviously it's a sliding door situation, how much impact is what you saw there going to have on the 2019 entry?
Oh, everything, to be honest. Everything. Yep. Because, I got so much inspiration over there from the other builds and from just being immersed in that culture. And I've brought a lot of that back with me, which will obviously go into the build. But also just that whole experience and how amazing it was is massive motivation to do it again. It's pretty easy to get a bit demotivated if you're sort of putting your heart and soul into these things and you're not getting the results you want. But you've just got to stick at it, man. You've got to just push through and put everything into your builds. And if you're lucky enough to win, it's a great reward.
Yeah, I'm thinking now about the guys that have been over that do show time and time again. Obviously yourself, Lance, Kieran, just sort of Benny coming up, and like having someone go over each year must just sort of give everybody else that inspiration just to kind of drop it back a gear and just give it a handful and just really push their own builds, because like everybody's happy for everybody to go, but all those guys would like to go again, So
yeah, of course.
The beauty of like this random's just going to rock up out of nowhere and just hop. Everybody's like, whoa, So it's such a great thing just to sit back. It's purely a spectator sport for me, and I love seeing the butts build. It is freaking rad.
Well,
you guys
I'm gonna
go at it, and I'll just enjoy snap.
you can just be there for the karaoke, mate.
Absolutely. Oh, maybe not. Yeah. All right, dude. Look, I really do appreciate your time. You've come back and shared with us the experience. I think we both, when we talked about it, I just really, what you said was you want to show people, this is how good it is. It's actually worth giving a go. It's actually worth stepping up and putting yourself into it because the reward is real. Yeah.
It's true, man. It's true. And like, I never thought, because I'm only relatively new to Gunpla as an art form in terms of modelling. I've only been doing it for like 5 years. But prior to that, scale modelling for most of my life, off and on, and getting into Gunpla, I sort of never really thought it would be my thing, but I didn't realise where it would end up taking me. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty confident building planes and tanks probably wouldn't have taken me where Gunpla did. So it's massively worth it, It's an awesome thing to do. So we'll do it again.
Awesome. Good to hear. Look, I'll see you in, I think it's March, sometime mid-March, if it's still at Smash. I'll see you then.
No, July. It's July.
Oh, July. Yep, my mistake. Ooh, that's lucky. Better check those plane tickets I bought. Not really. And look, good luck with all your building this year and all your prep and just getting it all done. And it's exciting as the time gets closer, watching all you guys leak little bits and pieces out. And like your whip albums afterwards are just mind-blowing. That's for sure. To see when you guys start with, like, I'm watching what Kieran's doing, and he started with these square boxes, and now they're like, there's power lines and all sorts of stuff, and feet and cylinders, and I'm like, what the hell how is he doing that? That is bizarre.
Mate, I'll be honest, man, it's intimidating. Like, I'm almost thinking, shit, maybe I should just, like, take it easy this year and, put all my energy into next year. But, I can't do that. Got to go there.
Can you just can you reach your statue there and just put it up to the camera so I can get one last look at him?
There he is.
So good. So shiny.
I know. I asked Kawaguchi-san to sign it, and he obviously signed it there. And then everyone was saying, "Hold it up, man, get some photos." And I was doing that, holding it up in all the photos. And then I looked down and I just wiped off his entire signature. So that was a bit of a shame.
This year, just get him to sign it up the top instead.
Yeah.
All right. No worries, mate.
Okay, man.
All right. Thanks for your time. And
cheers, Scotty.
Okay. Stay safe.
See you soon, man. Bye-bye.
Bye, buddy. And good morning, good evening, and good day. How are you all out there? My name is Scott Tiller. You have joined me once again for the Gunpla Insider for the Gunpla Network. This episode we have with us someone who we've had before and someone that I hope we'll have again because he's just such a great guy to chat with and virtually hang out with. And he's just a brilliant artist and someone that just brings so much to the hobby. Win, how are you, buddy? How's things?
I'm good. I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Really hot.
Yeah.
It's good, yeah. As I'm sure you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're sweated by the sweat joins us. I'll just mention a couple of my sponsors, or our sponsors for the Gunpla Network. We have Canadian Gundam. They look after us with a lot of the kits for competitions and that sort of business. And also my own personal sponsor is Cloud Communications. They give me the access to the VMR and some of the camera gear. So with all the admin aside, mate, I've been hanging out to talk to you since that weekend in December, and we've chatted a bit, and I've just been waiting to see you. How the hell are you, brother?
I am good.
Can you believe it was
like? I mean, when he came back from Japan,
10 weeks ago.
I was like, what?
It was like 10 weeks ago. Like that's like it feels like months and months and months, but it was like 10 weeks ago. You're in Tokyo, GBWC.
Yeah. Basically, I don't know what to say. It's sort of like, all right. Just in case y'all don't know, I got like a double award.
You did
for my piece, kind of thing, and also I got. One of the award was the special prize from the guy who made, or had a hand design in Gundam Build Fighter, which is the TV series that actually got me into Gundam in the first place.
Oh, isn't that rad?
So basically, I'm still kind of on a high on that, right? Then it's kind of been weird because it hasn't really sunk in yet. Because when you come back from Japan or when you come back from an event like this kind of thing, right? Yeah. You kind of have a downtime to relax kind of thing. Like, I know it was like in December and like, there's Christmas to relax and there's New Year's and all that stuff. But doing what I do, I had no break. So I've been like working solidly from the minute I got back home all the way till now. So I didn't really have time to really reflect on what happened just yet.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that's going on at the moment. So, but pretty much all in all the same, I guess. And I guess once you get home and then you get this kind of image, it all starts to really sink in for you, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Okay, I got these on loan. I'll show you all of them right now. Right, I got them on loan, only on loan from my mom. Right, just for the day, just for the show.
Yeah.
But
thank you.
They're going back to her house. There you go. All three.
Keep all the spider webs off them and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, basically. No, they're going back to my mom's house, and apparently I have no say in it. So
that's beautiful. She must be so happy.
Yeah. I mean, like, she is really supportive, although she, I think, intentionally, like, pretend not to care what I'm doing. Still calling it dolls and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, all good with that.
Good.
She's so proud. I love her.
I guess maybe that's her way of making sure you stay her little boy.
Yeah, right? I mean, like, occasionally, like, okay. A little story from way back when, in, like, early December, just before I went to GBWC in Japan, the event in Japan, right? I asked my mom right? You know those peanut foam? You know those packing foams?
Oh, yeah,
you put it in, like, before you send it kind of thing, right? The S-shaped ones.
Yep.
Basically, I asked my mom, right? I'm like, Mom, do you know where I can get those little things that you pack and, you send it off? I just need a little bit, just a little bit, right? Small case, a little bit. And she was like, yeah, I think I might know where to get them from. I was like, okay, cool. I just need a little bit. She's like, just a little bit, right? I was like, yeah, just a little bit. Right. I have no idea what to do with this.
Oh, man. That's like a 10 years worth of trips to Japan.
Yeah, basically. But, moms, you gotta love her.
Yeah.
Right? And the thing is, right, that thing, right, I do not recommend packing your models in those things.
Didn't work out?
They are horrible. All right, they'll prevent it from breaking off and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But occasionally, what the little foam bits, right? They'll stick to the paint job.
Oh no!
Because I use acrylic. I didn't use like enamel. I use acrylic for all my stuff, right?
Yeah.
It stuck onto the shoulder pad. Actually, it was a side, right? No, wait. Yeah, it was a side. Yeah, it stuck to the shoulder pad bit and a little bit on the leg bit of my entry kind of thing. So I went over to Japan. I went like 2-3 days beforehand. Mm-hmm. And that night, when I got back to the hotel, right, I opened it up. I took off the peanut foam, right, and a slab of paint came off with it.
Oh my god!
Right, it didn't actually come off with it. More of the foam kind of stuck onto it, and I had to scrape it off. So basically, I was panicking because it had to be exactly the same in every single way, from like judging and you displaying it in So all night. Yeah, so all night I was just sitting there with the brush painting and just crying, going, please work, please be okay, please be okay. Yeah, but it's all fixed. Everything is all normal and everything, but I don't recommend anyone packing anything in that.
Yeah, cool. Look, I'm going to bring up some photos of your entry last year, and we'll just flick through them. I just wanted to sort of ask you, I mean, I'll say it a million times and you'll go, oh, shucks. Like, the stuff that you do is truly... I spoke to Aaron the other night. When you get to GBWC, you're definitely going to see what is more at an artistic level. It's beyond just great building. It's beyond just amazing scribing and, scratch building this and painting that. It becomes much more like an art. And you put out some of the most amazing stuff that's out there. You have your own style. No worries. And you have your own style. And I guess when you build something like this, when you create something like this, from that moment where you start conceptualizing it, let's say somewhere around 9 months ago, you're like sitting on the toilet and you go, bing, I'm doing that. And then it starts creating. And as it grows a different personality. And once you're finished and you're like, right, it's Thailand GBWC, I'm taking this in and that's what's going in. And the identity of the whole build changes as it journeys with you and it gets you a ticket to Japan. And then it's still there, unfortunately. You have to wave goodbye and let it go. How does this kit make you feel now when you see it? Does it really grow with you, or do you just kind of like build it up and it's like a great book you've read and you're moving on to the next one?
Well, okay, originally, right, this was actually an idea as a finale for my We Are Gundam series.
Yeah, which I love.
Right? But, with this, as with all of my GBWC, and this is something I suggest to people, right? Yes, it is in Japan right now, and it'll be there for a few months, maybe more. I'm not too sure, right? Like I said, it's not my responsibility right now, so I really don't care, right? It's done, and I'm happy with that, right? But at the end of the day, win or lose, that thing is going to be on your shelf. And that's where it stays. So basically, I go into any project with the kind of mindset of, I have a space right here. What do I think is really cool? What do I want to fill this property with?
Yeah.
Basically, and you have to. It has to be kind of. I don't want to say perfect enough, but kind of like no glaring faults. No, like if there's like a little panel line that goes like that, right? You have to fix it, otherwise he'll be staring back at you from your shelf for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So you have to refine it enough so it doesn't annoy you when it's on your shelf.
Yeah.
Right. That's basically what I do with all my builds, especially for my GBWC. So I always start off like, okay, what do I want in my room? Yeah. And then it kind of grows from there, right? Because obviously GBWC, it has rules and regulation. I can't go like 60 centimeters, which kills me a little bit, especially with this one because it was like
must have been close.
Yeah, it's 49.32, I think, around there. This thing. I was talking to Aaron about that, and we panic all the time. We're like OCD with the measuring kind of thing. Like even we put like one little layer of paint on, we're just measuring just in case it goes over that 50 centimeter mark. But yeah, there are rules and regulations. So I start off with, I want this, something to go in this space.
Mm-hmm.
And then I work towards the GBWC rules and regulations. Like, you can't use any 3D printed thing.
Yeah.
Right? Anything from 3D printer. It has to communicate not to only modelers, but everyone who views it, which is non-modelers. And it has to communicate like to people who don't know what Gundam is.
Yeah.
Because it is a publicity kind of event anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's when I kind of form my idea of my limits to this, right? And you know that saying, like, Gundam is freedom, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is in a regular way you do your modeling, your hobby. Yes, it is freedom. You do whatever you want. But GBWC is sort of like a special thing that you can kind of go into and you can like kind of challenge yourself in a way. Like, for example, you're playing a game, right? You got Metal Slug. We were talking about Metal Slug.
Yeah, we were.
You got so good at Metal Slug, right? You know where all the enemies are shooting and the patterns it goes and all that stuff, right? You're really good at doing that. After you get really good, you get bored, so you set your own personal challenge, like, can I get from 1 to the end of the game on only 1 life?
Yeah.
You know, like a little thing. You don't have to. You know, you really don't have to, but can you? So you put your own little fun into it. That's essentially what GBWC is, just like a little added fun.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, can you create the best thing you can with these limitations?
Yeah. I mean, it blows me away that you guys you find a way to get more and more and more out of yourselves. I just keep saying Aaron and I spoke the other night. He's a very like a lot of what he builds is like jets and tanks and stuff. So he has that real kind of and tractors and things. He has that real grimy machinery type approach, you know. And I just would be so amazing to have gone to GBWC and looked along the line of kits. You know, there's a couple of kits. There's that Blue Nightingale, and it's just clean, like super clean. It's not boring. It's just, you know, it's amazing to see all the different, and to see how you guys just keep bringing up more and more and more. I might just bring up a few bits of video I've got here. I've got them sort of spooled up. This first one is when you received your award, so I hope that you can see it as well as I can. Everyone. として監督としてって部分で選ばせてもらったんですけども。Alright, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there for the moment. That must have been... I could tell initially you were like, oh wow, a special award, that's great. And then he handed you like that cell or that drawing.
It's a plaque kind of thing,
Yeah, you just about kind of lost it. Like your whole face changed.
Basically, he handed me the plaque. I'm like going, all right, this is awesome already.
Yeah.
And then when he handed me like a originally drawn concept art, because I love concept art anyway, like just looking at it, original concept art that he did himself and he signed especially kind of thing. I'm like, going, what? like I said earlier, if it wasn't for him, right, I would have been in Gundam anyway. You know, like I would have never picked up this hobby. I would still be like doing Warhammer and whatnot, kind of thing. I still do kind of do Warhammer, but not as much. I play more. Just but yeah, I was on stage and he gave that to me, and I nearly cried. I cried. I held it together and everything. Yeah. But afterward, right? All right, I got the plaque, the trophy, and that. I was just holding on to that for dear life, right? And like the staff was trying to like bring us out to the Gundam, the 1/1 scale Gundam, so they didn't do like pictures and interviews and whatnot kind of thing. But I was going to them like, can I have a bag? And it's just a plastic bag or something I can like just wrap this up in, like anything. Like, oh yeah, we'll get you later. You have to go now. I was like, no, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
anything can happen from here to like that door. So can I just please have a bag to put it in? They're like, no, we have no time. We gotta go. I'm like, please. So they just gave me a little bag, like a little like what do you call it, bubble wrap with a bag. I was like, oh, I love you, thank you. So I wrapped it up and ran after him, kind of thing. And the funny thing is, the rep there, right? The one that's like taking care of Thailand, kind of the Bandai rep that is in charge of the Thailand area, right? He was like kind of escorting us down there, and he's holding the trophy, and I'm just holding on to like the wrapped picture that I got.
Like this,
right? And he was like, he was hanging on to the plaque and the trophy, just one in each hand, kind of thing, right? And I was just holding on to the picture for dear life, right? But the funny thing is, we got a lot of people who are into Gundam. They watched it live in Japan as well, like on their phones and stuff. Right, as we're walking there, a lot of Japanese people were like, "Congratulations!" like to him. Right, to me.
You go, yeah, sure, why not? Thank you.
Oh, no. I'm like, no, him. He won. I didn't do anything. I'm just holding a bag.
That's good.
I was protecting that for dear life. Just like hanging on to it, like, oh, no one touched me.
Yeah, that's good. Well, we'll have a squeeze at your moment of. This is when they're going through announcing the entries. Yours. Then.
タイ代表ビチャイス・エイヤムオンさんの作品タイトル We Are Gundam アメリカ代表
Very good.
Okay. Now, one thing, I hate to admit this, I love the event. I love everything about the event, right? But, like, it's just that flag wavy bit, right? I am proud to be from Thailand. I'm Thai. I'm proud to be Thai. But, like, it's just that little, looking camera and waving flag and all that. I'm just like, we have to. We're just like, hello, and then sit down kind of thing. But, like, I don't know. It's just,
It does look just cool. A tiny bit awkward. Like Aaron is he's tall, and when I spoke to him, he's like, I sort of had this, and he's like, I've never actually waved a little tiny Australian flag before, and I kind of didn't really know what to do with it. He's like,
exactly. It's one of those like moments where, like the awkward moment where people are singing "Happy Birthday" to you, and all you can do is kind of stand there and wait for a song to be over. You're like.
Aaron's saying they're trying to keep the camera. Like he'd like to just do this, but you got to keep the flag in frame, and because everything's a little bit sort of like calm, and you don't want to be the guy that's freaking out and stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Awesome. That's a
little bit awkward. I'm like,
We'll sort of get through a few. See, this is the third time you've been there.
Yeah.
You must have some great friends. I'm just going to bring up some pictures that you've shared with everybody and allowed me to tonight. And I think they're just a really good indication of, like, once you guys get there, there's all sorts of just awesome craziness. Like, it's the ultimate build meet, but you don't have to build because you've been building for 8 months. And the job's done. And it just like you. Do you find that the people that you're meeting with, there's definitely a certain sort of wavelength that everybody's on, or is there still a really immense amount of sort of like differences between people? But there's that one thing that just you're all there for that one reason, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty much we don't care anymore. If you know what I mean. I mean, we care, right? But like it's sort of like obviously we care because we love the hobby and we like it. But it's more of the Japan thing is more of an icing on the cake kind of thing. And we're all there. We're just relaxed. We're like, like it really didn't matter who won or lose or whatever kind of thing. We're just there as friends and like. We talk to each other. I mean, like, we follow each other on, like, the Facebook page, the Instagram page, and all that stuff, right? And it is really cool to meet the face behind the plastic.
Yeah. I understand exactly. This is what I want to do with this show, is to show people that you're not just, like, robot cyborgs that just make amazing stuff. You're just guys and girls that just can make amazing stuff, so... That's still
I love that aspect of it. I mean, they are great people. They are all really, really great. I mean, we're grown men playing with plastic models. Yeah. We cannot be taking life that seriously, and that's who I want to hang with. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like there is none of those like, like when businessmen's like, yes, I have a Ferrari. It's like, well, I have a Lamborghini. That kind of like dick measuring kind of thing.
So pissing.
We got none of that. It's like. Yeah, we're just like, oh, dude, how do you do that a little bit? Oh, how do you do that a little bit? It's like, I'll tell you if you tell me, deal. And we're just getting drunk. And by the way, that picture was taken like around, I think 3 o'clock in the morning. We're all really drunk. There was like a kind of convenience store upstairs in the hotel, like 24-hour kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
And that was the lobby of the hotel. So we just sat there, like right behind the Christmas tree on the couches.
Yeah,
we're just shooting shit, just talking random stuff. We didn't even talk about model.
Yeah,
I don't think we talked about model. To be fair, I didn't remember a lot of it, but I remember the fun. That's about it. Like I knew I had fun. Yeah, but with that one on stage, it was
very
great.
Good. Very good.
With that, we actually took turns. So, like, the guy who's on me, he goes up, and I go on the bottom, and, we just took turns taking pictures of that.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if
friends.
still understands what's going on.
Sorry?
I don't think anybody quite still... I haven't had anybody explain to me the original image from narrative, like, what's going on. Like, it's asking for people to do this.
From what I know, it is a statue of rebellion, of peace or like the fight of mankind kind of thing. It's a proper statue monument kind of thing. And I forgot what country it came from.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's like a monument basically.
Like it's sort of the struggle or something, or
I forgot where it is, right? But basically, the artist took that pose and just kind of made it into. That pose, because like the storyline of the Gundam narrative kind of reflects that struggle or something like that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure what statue or what country that statue came from, but it just spawned off the most memes that I've ever seen from the Gundam series.
It sure did.
I love it.
Yeah. I wanted to look at what do we got here? Just some. This is more sort of like the actual day of the event, and I guess this first picture is leading up to it. So, yeah, I'd like to sort of get towards the end. I'd like to sort of get your kind of, I guess, your hot 3 to 5 tips on people that are kind of on the precipice of. There's probably a lot of people out there that can build and probably are really great artists, but haven't yet got that drive to just sort of go that bit further. And really step up to a GBWC within their own country for starters. And so we'll get down that road, and maybe you can sort of hand over. I mean, you're going to have some wisdom. You've got one of every colour, a fantastic award. So we'll just sort of work through these.
Sorry. Just on the subject of the trophies, right?
Yeah.
I think 2017, at the very beginning of the year, like I was talking to my friend. Kevin Zhang, Mr. Dash from America.
Yeah.
He was the 4-time champion or something, right? Or 5-time. I'm not sure. But he won a lot, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And we're really close. See, that's the other thing. You shouldn't think that you're not good enough to enter or whatever. Just enter.
Yeah,
The real prize of entering is friends and the community you're in.
Yeah,
I mean, Kevin Zhang, I consider him to be one of my best friends, right? He even came to Thailand, and saw me and all that stuff. And, he was promoting his book and all that, and I was, just hooking up with, a couple of, distributors here, right?
Yeah, sure.
But, other than that, we went out, we got drunk, and he eats a lot, right? I mean, he's a cool guy, but he eats a lot. I'm like, fair play, dude. Fair fucking play, right? But he's an awesome guy, right? But I would never met him if I didn't join the event, right? And I mean, even if you're starting, just go and join. I mean, the main advice I can give to any builder, whether you're joining or not, is fail fast. Right? That's the only easiest way to get to where you want to be. And to be honest, I have no idea where I want to be. I just keep on developing more and more and more and carry on. I mean, there is no end, there is no limit to this hobby, basically, right? But
sure.
Let's say you go on the internet, you see a tutorial on YouTube, right? And you see them holding a Gundam head, and they have an airbrush, right? Just not an airbrush because I don't have one, but a random leg, right? And pretend that's an airbrush.
Yeah.
And they're doing all the stuff. They're using their thumb to mask or whatever kind of thing, right? And then make it look so easy, right? If I try that, my first goal, let's say I bought an airbrush, I did kind of everything that they told me, right? There's no way I can get it looking like the way they look on his video, just because he didn't show you the amount of time he's failed before he got to that level.
Yeah.
So fail fast. Fail fast. If you don't want to buy Gundam toys to actually practice and fail, I say go to a dollar store or any place where they sell plastic, or even those. When you buy scissors, right, it comes in those plastic kind of covering thing that you need scissors to get out
on the outside and stuff.
Yeah, which I find kind of redundant. You buy scissors and need scissors to get them out. But
ironic.
I digress. But you can actually use those plastic as studies. When you see a technique from YouTube or whatever, you try that technique out. The most that happens is, you primer it up, you try the technique out, and if you fail, you chuck it away. It doesn't matter before you go on to your Gundam. And don't think that you have to perfect that technique. Just get comfortable enough to do it on your Gundam.
I guess one thing to do is, and probably something that stops a lot of people is dealing with criticism. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can be in the nicest group on Facebook, and yet there's always going to be someone that's going to go, "Oh, you should have done it, blah blah," and you should have done it, blah blah. And you can maybe learn to filter out some of those people that they're maybe not that qualified to give you advice. But there are going to be other people that are going to go, "That's great," and then they'll give a bit of sage advice, and taking that and allowing that to sort of soak in as advice as opposed to criticism. If you're a kind of shy person, or you don't do it for the reasons where you're not trying to achieve it, but if you are one of those people that has aspirations to go for GBWC, you need to stuff your work out there and just go, all right, this is what I'm doing, and people will just start giving you feedback, and you'll start getting that progression, but you can still enjoy it at the same time, right? It's not like it's not like here's my kit, judge me. Here's my kit, judge me. Here's my kit, judge me. You can just enjoy it, and you'll naturally progress. You'll naturally gain some skills, and then you'll get the right people will come around you. And like you said, it's the good people. You surround yourself with the good people in the right groups, and follow the right people, and you'll get the right advice. And it'll always be positive. I think that's probably those photos of you guys at GBWC. You're having the best time. No one's sad, no one's upset. Everybody's just happy to be there, and that's the goal, of the whole hobby is being together.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that differentiate like a pro from a non-pro. I'm not saying that I'm a pro or anything, but like pros are the ones who failed more times than a non-pro has tried.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, just fail all the time. I mean, I still fail now. It's fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes you accidentally find something that you didn't think would happen, but you know the effect looks good. So future, you can use it for like a little tool for your belt.
Yeah, and you'll pick that up. The one GBWC Australia I've been to, and I was just wandering around, and I was just there to be part of it, and listen to the conversations. There's a couple of guys I know, and I would sort of just follow them around, listen to them talk to the other guys, and it's like hearing these two, elite athletes sharing information about how their fights went or whatever. And you can pick up some of it, but you always hear this like, dude, that's amazing. He goes, I don't even know why that happened. I just used this pigment and these oils, and the ground just looked like this. And it's like, that's amazing, So that guy technically failed as a result, got a brilliant result. But it wasn't what he was aiming for. So that's exactly what you're saying.
And so definitely, like I said, when you go to these events, right, bring a notepad with you because you're going to forget. I forgot a lot of, but I did write them down when I can. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like those guys are awesome. If you haven't failed, you haven't tried hard enough.
Yeah.
All
right, let's have a look through some more picks. I think I've got a few here that are kind of like on the day. So,
all right, with the Shit Happen kit, right?
Yeah,
like
sure.
I said, the Shit Happen kit. That's actually, shit happens all the time, as it did with mine, right? I think. Yeah, 2016, nothing really broke, but I have it anyway. It's always better to have something there that you may use than not to have it there at all. And like I said, with the group of people that won from each region, right? We had a group on Facebook, like Facebook Messenger group kind of thing, right? Where we all talk and we introduce ourselves, like, hi, how y'all doing, and all that stuff. Yeah. And so we kind of talked to each other, so we were friends then before we actually got to Japan, so we felt like we'd known each other for a longer time.
Cool.
Kind of thing. I really, really want to talk to the guy in Japan, right? But his English skill ain't that great, and I know he wants to talk to us, and we do. I talked to him a little bit, at the event, but we were trying so hard. And but we realized we're both trying so hard. We just nodded, I know I'm trying. I love your work. You love my work. We're cool, rock and roll. And then we carry on, kind of thing, right? Yeah. But occasionally it will be the language barrier that stops us from talking.
Yeah.
Right? But a lot of times it's just the body language. They'll understand, you mean well, I mean well, I love your work, you love my work, I love the way you did that, or you love the way you did that, and you know what I mean? So you might not get technique or anything, but you got a friend. I mean, he's got a friend in me, forever.
Yeah.
Because his kid was awesome.
Yeah, but everybody says so.
Yeah. But this shit happened. I said, okay, I'll bring this, and this, and this, right? All these paintbrushes. Super glue, I got putty, I got basically everything, If anyone needs to use it, go for it, ask me. And, a couple people, dude, when you have super glue, I was like, yeah, here you go, dude. Do you need matte varnish? Because, after super glue dry, it tends to, shine.
Yeah,
get glossy. So you just a little bit of shine. Here's a brush. Here's a bit of water, so you can just, blend it out and all that stuff. So we're all helping each other, and they obviously they'll bring their own kind of toolbox, their own shit happen kind of case to the event. So we had to hold all that together just in case one person didn't bring one thing or they whatever kind of thing. So we kind of pulled it together. So essentially, when we got there and we were putting things up, we're just helping each other. We're all the best, buddy. Here you go. This is what you need. Do you need me to help? I mean, we can't help actually putting stuff up, but if you need me to go grab water for you, rock and roll, here you go. After you're done.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there's a really good and supporting community there as well. Oh, group rather there.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's all the entries. They're all lined up.
Yes, that's for the open course. The one to the other side will be the junior course. Right now, they started doing it this way from 2017. Right now, I didn't know that. Right. But they started doing it in a line like that in that event because they just opened their gun base in 2017, right? So they just did it and all that stuff. But when I went in 2016, they had the cases like individually, so you can actually get a good look around.
Right.
Like individually, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But this year, kind of lined it up
as opposed to in a line.
Yeah. So basically, when you look at it from front and you want to see it from back, you have to walk all the way around the wall to actually get a look at it from the back. Right. But you can't actually look at it from all the way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was a bit weird, and it makes a little change. But, live and learn.
Yeah. I guess that would impact... it'd be nice to know, I suppose, because it could impact the way... that you're going to present your kit, because A, they can't get it right around the side of it, and B, I'm assuming they're going to walk down the line, and then when they come back, they're not going to kind of look at yours and then walk around and look at yours, and then do that for every kit. That'd be a long day for them, having to keep doing that. So I guess that sort of affects, it would definitely affect maybe the way you would sort of present the final product.
Yeah, because I've noticed a lot of people have a lot of details on the back end of the thing as well. Because usually models, the way I think about it is a 360 thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a new thing. Like I said, it's good to have it all around because like I said, at the end of the day, it is going on your shelf, and if that will annoy you, just do it.
Yeah, that's yeah.
The main key. A lot of people will ask me how would they win in GBWC, right? And to be honest with you, I have no idea. I just do the best I can and hope for the best, basically. Yeah. And I think that's most of the way you do it. But refinement is everything. Refinement in idea, refinement in paint, craftsmanship, everything, right? Just refine. That's the main thing. And the way I see it, there are 3 ways to display a Gundam piece, an entry kind of thing. Excuse me. One is a standalone. The standalone is like what you have at the back with your PG Gundam. Yeah. That's a standalone piece. It's Gundam just standing there on its own. Yeah. It looks great already. You know what I mean? It is awesome, right? The second one will be a base display. Right, a base display is a Gundam on a base. Right now, the base can be just kind of like a hanger kind of thing, or just a flat black, matte black, or a shiny black, or whatever kind of thing. Right, but it's a Gundam on the base. The focal point will still be on the Gundam. The base is there to kind of complement and enhance that Gundam, giving the viewer more information about how the Gundam will operate, or if you just have a black base, it kind of frames the Gundam within that.
Sometimes people will use a plinth, which sort of puts it up on a pedestal a bit.
Yeah, basically. So how you frame it, or you're giving more information to the audience about that Gundam. But still, the model, the Gundam, is the focal point.
Yeah.
Third way you can display is diorama. Now, diorama, right? The main focal point of a diorama is the story you're trying to communicate, right? Now, whether or not that story gets communicated into the audience, you'll be marked on that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so if you're trying to tell a really complicated story with a diorama, some people may get it, some people may not get it. So you run that risk. So if you keep it simple, imagine a photograph. When you look at a photograph, you can see a story, a well taken photograph kind of thing. You can see a story, and you know what's going on and everything about that. Right? Essentially, you're trying to do that, but in a 3D form. Right? Now, the way I see it, a diorama will be more impressive right? I mean, it's more eye-catching, and people will look at it more. But at the same time, a lot more can go wrong, right? And when people see a diorama, and you see, like, sometimes when you see people doing plasters or using plaster as rocks, unless it's molten hot rock, you won't get rounded kind of surface to the rock, flat rounded surface. But because it's plaster, it comes out rounded. They didn't manipulate it; they just did that and they painted, right?
Yeah,
that's a bit right. Like I said, a lot more can go wrong, and you will be marked down for that.
Right. So if you're going to step out into that realism sort of realm, then you put a lot of pressure on yourself to really start.
So there's a lot more element to it.
Yeah. Has there been a history of dios doing very well at like the finals, or even just qualifying?
It just depends. To be honest with you, before me, not really.
Yeah. I guess it's interesting that the different ways you're talking about presenting, looking at the build that won, the Japanese, the Exia, like, it's just such a amazing outside the box. I mean, the winner every year is going to be outside the box, but it's a dio, but it's a frame. And, the way he used the infinity mirror, and the way he used his lighting, and the way he used his the way he mounted it, so there was like almost, it's literally looks like it's floating in there. He's taken a lot of those different aspects and sort of melded them all into one situation. And I think that yours is probably similar. Like, it's a base, but within the base is a diorama, and it all sort of complements. And it's like, well, there's the Gundam, but then there's this bit under here that tells you why the Gundam are there, and so you can kind of cross the beams a little bit here and there, but you've got to be really careful on which way you're trying to make the viewer get lean. Do you want them to think, oh, it's a nice diorama, or you want them to think, that's clever how his base has presented the actual build?
Yeah, like for example, Aaron. Now his Gundam is amazingly awesome. I love it.
I've seen it. It's truly amazing. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, man. And that is a Gundam on the base, right? I'm not saying it's worse than a diorama or whatever, right? See, the thing is, as long as you can perfect, or you think you can kind of refine it to a really high quality, whichever way you're displaying it, go with that one. I came from a miniatures background.
Yeah.
Right, doing miniatures like tabletop wargaming, where the base is as important as the model itself.
Yeah.
So I give a lot of importance to the base, and if it's a diorama, obviously the story kind of thing. Yeah. But what I found with a lot of modelers, right? I'm not talking about Aaron here. Aaron's like, I can't fault him. His stuff is amazing, right? Yeah. But with a lot of models that I've seen on the internet, amazing Gundam, like really, really amazing Gundam, and they want to display it on base, so they just stick it on a cheap base, or one that they just made for 5 minutes, and like haven't really given any thought or effort into the base. You know what I mean? Which it pulls it down. It's sort of like if you buy an expensive suit and you have a cheap tie, the cheap tie will bring the expensive suit down. Yeah. Same thing with base. You got to give the base as much attention as the Gundam. If you're not going to, or you don't like doing base or whatever, do a standalone piece. Because a standalone piece, but to a perfection, will get you a lot more point than a diorama with a lot of flaws.
It's interesting you mentioned the miniatures before, because I work with guys that paint the 40k stuff, and you say like the base is as important, but at the same time with the miniatures, the base is like, if it's a space marine on the grass, there's a couple of colours, there's a wash. It's grass, it looks great, but it's not drawing your eye away from the amazing work done with the embellishments on the marine's armour and things like that. So it's the same thing, it's just only 28 mil high instead of 49.82 or whatever centimetres.
Yeah, with a Gundam you see a lot more stuff because of the scale.
Yeah, geez, one of every colour now. So I guess where do you go? Like, what are you going to do? You're just going to keep punching on and just enjoying it and just keep taking the tickets from them, or what?
I mean, I'll do my best. I mean, I guarantee or promise nothing, but I'll just do my best. Like, win or lose, I'm just happy doing it anyway, because like, it is a hobby. The way I see it is a hobby. Oh, sorry. I'm just going back to the story with Kevin Zhang that we were talking like beginning of 2017. I forgot about that. We went off and tangent about the trophies, right? I was talking to him and all that, right? And we were just joking about it. Like, dude, how cool would it be if I got third place? It's like, dude, do you know how hard that would be? I was like, yeah, but like, if I get one of each color of the trophies, how cool would that be? It's like, dude, that'll be impossibly hard. Why would you want to do that? Like, I don't know, it's cool, right? And we were joking about it and then we forgot about it, and I was joking with my friends here in Thailand, and then we forgot about it. And then it actually, like, on the day, right, I was in the crowd, I was, like, waiting for the announcement to come on. And, like, in the back of my mind, I mean, like, obviously, you hope for the best, right? Like, and I think I was kind of hoping for the best, but, like, deep down, I'm like, third, say my name, third, just say my name, third, come on, third, come on, please, third, say three, win, come on, three, please, oh, God, you know, like, just give me third. Right?
Yeah.
Kind of like, it felt weird having my own agenda in that kind of competition.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
But then when this hit third, I was like, yes! You know, I think, like, a lot of people were saying that I was the only one overly happy about third.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, I just couldn't
any normal person would have been, only third,
something, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah,
so I was going, yes, I got three. But yeah,
cool.
I was amazingly happy about it. It's just an ecstatic kind of thing, right? I mean, it's just cool having it, like, you know. Fair enough. It's at my mom's house. I do go see it every often, you know, just like feed it and like, you know, water it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I do go see my mom and all.
Your mum legitimately, like, she's like, they're staying here, or you're just, I'm just happy to leave them here, or is she legitimately like, no, they're staying here?
Yeah, no, they're she took all my trophies from my Thailand trophies, you know, that I got. Like, any trophy, any kind of plaques, ribbons, like, ever since I was a kid, if I get any ribbons, I never win anything, by the way. Usually, I never ever win anything.
Yeah, well, this makes up for it.
Yeah, slightly. But yeah, usually I never win anything. But any kind of publication about me, any interviews, I mean, like, I've written 6 books, and she kept it all, kind of thing. Like, I think she kept 5 of each from each, like 5 of each thing. And then, like, I wrote 6 books, so 5 of each. So she has, like, a whole stack of bookcases on my books.
Yeah, right.
And all the TV shows I've been on, blah, blah, blah. Right? She kept all of that.
All right.
Yeah.
I can just
like,
imagine her. She's like proud as punch. She's got this like you know, like this massive sort of wall that's all about win. And then when she brings her friends past, she's like, that's for all the dolls he plays with. You know, sort of talks it down, but deep down inside, just like, oh, it's so amazing. He's so amazing. Yeah, it's crazy.
The funny thing is, my mom knows me, kind of thing, and she's like not the mom that like showboats their kids, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
Like, she knows I'm an idiot. When I got my wife, right, when I first started seeing my wife, and, you know, we got married and all that stuff, my wife asked me, like, when did your mom ever thought I wasn't good enough for you? And she's like, no, she's grateful he didn't find someone that put up with your shit.
Yeah, that's right.
So she's like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah. Good stuff.
But, yeah, I mean, like, yeah. Like I said, I have no say in it with that.
Well, it's nice to be loved. So I'd ask you a little before, like, so next year, and like, we don't want to get into too much detail here, but Well, unless you won some sort of weird lottery, I would suspect this is maybe this year's entry in the making.
Yes, indeed. This is actually Plan C. Believe it or not.
Plan C.
Yeah. Yeah, because I ran through Plan A and B, and it just it wouldn't work too well, or it would work, but it has to go over 60 centimeters, and all that, or 50 centimeters rather.
Yeah.
Right? So it didn't work, and I believe that this is kind of. I still don't know. They're all in pieces right now, and this is actually only the start of it. Right, I'm actually looking for Hydra Gundams right now. Parts.
What the heck do you need out of that one kit? And you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, I don't know, around 20 of them. Is it
20?
Is it just a foot or something? You need 20 feet, or what the heck?
Spoilers.
Yeah.
But no, basically, I do kind of need the. I'll say this: I'll need the whole body. I think, yeah, I do need the whole body. I kind of had it worked out and everything. I had 5 Hydra Gundam that I will be using for this entry as well, right? But I actually need 5 more, and it is a kit that's really hard to find, and I'm actually looking for it now, kind of thing. And I just need the back legs from Hydra Gundam to actually make this complete. But yeah, there will be a lot of kit put into this thing.
Exciting.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of making it up as I go along. I kind of have a vague idea of what it might be, but I'm not too sure on the details just yet. And that's another thing about building in general, kind of thing. Just always expect to fail.
Yeah.
You'll be a lot more relaxed when you're building, right? You have a vague idea of what you want to do. That's fair enough. But just don't really plan it out too much. Don't do proper line drawing and all that stuff. Unless you're Josh. Josh, he's god at that. I mean, he has a hand of Josh from Dora, right? He's really good Australian builder. Just in case, people don't know, but his stuff is awesome. I mean, his penmanship, whatever, is awesome beyond belief. I'm not at all jealous, at all, really. Anyway, but Josh, right? He tends to plan out everything, right? Where he's scribe, how he's going to change from this thing to this thing, and he feels comfortable in that.
Yeah,
right? Which is fair to say, but. To us mere mortals, we tend to make it up as we go along.
Come on. Yeah.
So basically, I have an idea, right? A vague idea of what I'm doing, and then I sort of slowly work my way there. If I fail on one thing, I look for something else to kind of similar shape or kind of there, but not really my original plan, but it works. So I'll carry on with that and so on and so forth until I get to a point where rock and roll. I do that. Yeah. So things are always changing. Be okay with change. Be okay with failure, because I always expect to fail usually.
Yeah. I think it's wise words. I mean, it's worked for you 3 times already. I would say it's actually worked for you 4 times because it worked for you twice last year. Because you kind of got the award and you got 3rd place. That's a double, so it's worked for you 4 times.
And my first Gundam was 2014, the GBWC as well.
Wow.
So, but make it up as I go. But at the same time, right? Not to brag or anything. I'm not counting or anything.
Yeah.
but like I said, that's the way I work. I tend to make it up as I go along and hope for the best. But a lot of people might not do that or might not be comfortable with doing that, right? I say just go with it's a hobby that you love. And hobbies are supposed to relax you. You enjoy it. Do whatever do you basically. Yeah. So people pick the way Tim works. Oh yeah, by the way, Child Mecha Tim, right?
Yes.
He has like a live broadcast of when he does his work and all that stuff. Justin, and a bunch of other great modelers. They will live cast like when they do their stuff, when they airbrush, when they paint or whatever kind of thing, right? Watch them, right? Yeah. You might not watch them for their technique or what they're doing, but like sort of like how they handle a certain piece of something or whatever, and how they work their workflow, right? Yeah. Just watch that, and then take it not as that, but like manipulate it into what you're comfortable with.
Yeah. I mean, there can be simple things, just like the way you hold a brush. You might have just doing this, and they might be like, I find if I just sort of put it in the crook of my thumb and bring it back a bit, and you're like, that seems weird. You try it. Or I have watched a couple of Tim's just here and there, like he's got his little magnifying glass on, he's using this tiny guillotine to cut PLA plate, and you're like, that's extreme. But when I watch it, I think I could do what I do and just take it that little bit more precision and take my time and just plan it out a bit, not just kind of grab it and just sort of, slap it together and this and that and the other. So there's definitely, even those guys you think that are above you, you can learn something from them every time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And a lot of people actually ask me, like, why I don't do a live podcast when I do stuff. Well, it's because I'll be horrible at it. I'll be extremely horrible at it. Like, them a lot, they can work, they can talk to camera, talk to people, read stuff going up and down, all that, right? Me, all you'll get is shouting random abuse at a random piece of plastic when it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. It's like, I own you, why?
Yeah.
Right? And I admit this to you, but I didn't. Who cares? Okay, when I paint, I use a brush, right? I always use a brush to paint. Now, sometimes I use multiple brush, and as I am sitting here right now, I'm sitting on the floor, cross-legged, right? I don't have shoes or socks on, cross-legged on the floor when I'm painting or modeling or doing whatever kind of thing. Yeah. And when I use multiple brush to blend, I use one to apply the paint. I take another one up, which is a little bit damp, and I blend it in, and then another one just kneading it up, right? Now, all those brushes are actually stuck between my toes. So I use my toes as holders,
so good.
kind of thing, and I don't know if anyone wants to see that, because a lot of people have funny things with toes and things going between toes, and I just have multiple, so I have multiple stuff going in and out of my toes, and then sometimes from my toes, I don't think about it, I just put it in my mouth, then grab another brush, and then, you know what I mean? I have horrible modeling habits. And a lot of people ask me why a lot of time my hands are covered in paint, but just a little bit. Right. Before I paint, when I dip my brush into paint, I actually shape and test out the consistency of the paint on my hand before I actually do it on the model. And that's why, it's just the right amount of texture, and you just clean it off because it's acrylic.
Yeah, sure.
But that's essentially why I don't do any podcasts. So watch them, right? Don't copy my technique because it's
Did you get Toei Jam brushes and stuff? But that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My feet are clean. I promise you, they're clean.
Yeah. Look, I just I really appreciate you coming and chatting with me tonight and sharing with us your wisdom and
my pleasure.
Yeah, I just sometimes I find it a bit hard to sort of to find things to ask you because. The level that you guys are at. But I think often what I end up walking away from these conversations is that, I have these kits over here. Some of them are just snapped a bit of top coat, and you've got those and that. But there's still so much in common between us because there's the same little battles between committing to a job and getting it done and then being happy with it. And, sometimes every time I speak to you on these sort of you'd be willing to fail, there is this, sometimes there's this if you can't do it wrong, but in actual fact that you can. I have a couple of kits that I know that I just did them wrong, and I know I forced them. I know I rushed them. I know there's things that are wrong, and I made those decisions. And I guess as you start to sort of grow as a builder, you make the decisions to remember back and go, do you remember when you did that? And do you remember how it turned out? If you don't want to do it tonight, push it aside, go and watch some Netflix, and pick it up tomorrow. And have that maturity just to sort of relax and enjoy the hobby. And every time I speak to you and I see you go off to Japan, the same as Aaron, and you have fun with all these people, it's still just a hobby. And that's, for me, that's the essence of all these conversations I have with all you guys is, it's still just a hobby. You're just fortunate enough that your skills are able to get you a trip to Japan and meet the rest of the amazing people. And I just want to thank you guys for being like that, for reminding us that you can still have fun even when you're great at something. Because it's very easy for ego to get in and wash all the fun away. You know, it's very easy.
Yeah, just you do you, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly
do what
you. Yeah. Cool. All right, well, look, I think you've shared a lot of time with us tonight, so we might probably just wrap it up there, Win. I just want to bring up one more thing. We've been here. Where are we? Sorry, I just want to bring this up one more time because I think it's a really amazing shot. There we go. There we go. That's something to celebrate. Mate. It really is. It truly is. And you made it happen. You know, you wished for it.
I'm just smiling.
And you sat in that chair and you're like, please make me third. Please make me third. And that's huge. I want third. I'm taking third today. Could have had any color I wanted, but I'm taking third.
Oh, yeah. Look at
Yeah.
Sorry, not to show off or anything.
No, you earn them. You earn them. I like to see you trying to hang them all around your neck on one chain.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe.
Just old school rapper kind of thing.
Yeah.
With trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I gotta just love these because they're over for one night. I get custody for one night, and then I gotta give it back to, yeah.
All right,
but
buddy.
yeah.
All right. Well, look, thanks so
All right,
much.
you took it easy. All right.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
No, you came back again, and you put up with me for a second time, and we really appreciate hearing from you, and we're really looking forward to see what you're going to do with those 20 kits and those 2 kits, another 5 kits, and 7 other kits you haven't found yet. It's always a journey. Yeah, it's like you're probably talking about 40 kits or something stupid by the time you're done with it.
Yeah, I will use all the parts, right? I'm just not going to rip apart for a feed and then throw everything away. There will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of spares. It should be interesting. I have no idea where I'm going with that either.
All right. Mate, thanks again, and we'll be in touch, eh?
Right, thank you. Bye.
All right, buddy. See ya.